अस्सलाम वालेकुम जी। वेलकम बैक टू अनदर वीडियो इंग्लिश विद रहील सर। आज के टॉपिक में हम बात करने वाले हैं कुछ अहम लिटरेरी डेफिनेशन पे। तो ये तकरीबन 8 डेफिनेशंस का जो है मैं आज डिस्कस करने वाला हूँ डिटेल से, उनकी जो टाइप्स हैं, उनकी जो यूजेस हैं। तो आप लोगों ने वीडियो को एंड तक देखना है। इंशाल्लाह आपकी जो है लिटरेरी टर्म की ये जो बेसिक्स जो खामियां हैं वो आपकी दूर हो जाएंगी इंशाल्लाह। तो इंग्लिश विद रहील सर चैनल पे तमाम वीडियो जो हैं इंग्लिश लिटरेचर के हवाले से वो वन बाय वन अपलोड की जा रही हैं। तो आप लोगों ने जुड़े रहना हमारे साथ ताकि आपको हर आने वाली वीडियो मिलती रहे। आपने हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना है और बेल आइकन लाजमी दबाना है ताकि आपको तमाम वीडियोज़ बिला तरतीब मिलती रहें। तो बिना टाइम वेस्ट किए शुरू करते हैं आज की वीडियो। सबसे पहले हमारे पास है सोनेट। व्हाट इज़ सोनेट? सोनेट क्या होता है? तो इसकी डेफिनेशन पर देखते हैं। अ सोनेट इज़ अ वन स्टैंजा 14 लाइन पोइम written in iambic pentameter. The most common and simplest type is known as the English or Shakespearean sonnet, but there are several other types. उसके बाद हम characteristics पे बात कर लेते हैं। 49 poems, all sonnets have 49 which can be broken down into 4 sections called quatrains. दूसरा पॉइंट इसका स्ट्रिक्ट राइम स्कीम होती है इसकी, ए बी सी डी ई एफ जी। तो पहली जो है वो चार चार होती हैं, आखिर में दो। थर्ड है रिटन इन iambic pentameter. Sonnets are written in iambic pentameter, a poetic meter with 10 beats per line made up of alternating unstressed and stressed syllables. A sonnet can be broken into 4 sections called quatrains. The first 3 quatrains contain 4 lines each and use an alternating rhyme scheme. The final quatrain consists of just 2 lines which both rhyme. Each quatrain should progress the poem as follows. First quatrain जो है उसमें ए बी होती है राइम स्कीम, सेकंड क्वार्टर में सी डी, थर्ड क्वार्टर में ई एफ और फोर्थ क्वार्टर में जी। अब यहाँ पे कुछ एग्जांपल देख लेते हैं जो है हमारे सोनेट्स की। समर्स डे है, डार्क लेडी है, ऑन इज ब्लाइंडनेस है, द सिल्कन टेंट है। यहाँ पे ये हमारे सोनेट्स था। उसके बाद हम नेक्स्ट टॉपिक पे चलते हैं। व्हाट इज़ एन ओड? ओड क्या होता है? An ode is a type of lyrical poetry that addresses a person, place, thing, or event. It was first used in ancient Greek, accompanied by music and theatrical stylings. Later versions of odes are not made to be sung or recited so ceremonially, eventually creating types of odes that were meant for private consumption. Greek odes are known for being the originators, while English odes are what might be seen as the more contemporary evolution. So here we move forward towards characteristics of odes. Lyrical lines होती हैं about a specific place, person or event. Second part इसका set to music and theatrics in classical style, just mean for reading in other style. Third part इसका specific structure for classical styles, non-specific structure for non-classical styles. Types ओड की हैं पेंडेरिक ओड, होरेशियन ओड, इरेगुलर ओड। आगे इसकी हिस्ट्री देख लेते हैं थोड़ी सी। When considering the long history of the ode in the English language, it is necessary to look back to Edmund Spenser, best known for his epic The Fairy Queen. Spenser also wrote the earliest odes in the English language, Epithalamium and Prothalamium. Moving forward in time to the 17th century, poets like Abraham Cole and John Dryden took on a practice of writing variants of the Pindaric ode form. The ode as a form of writing gained traction in the works of poets like William Wordsworth, John Keats, and Percy Bysshe Shelley. These poets more often than not use the ode form to address emotional responses, personal fears, and pleasures. Additionally, this time period saw poets reaching out to inanimate objects and intangible forces as the subjects of odes as well. Here are some examples given below of odes: Ode to Nightingale and Ode to West Wind. So this is about odes. Our next definition is here is elegy. What is an elegy? Elegy is a speech that praises someone typically after they no longer exist. Funerals, as you have probably experienced, are the standard occasion for giving an elegy in which one person reflects on and celebrates the deceased life. An elegy is a poem and it has a particular kind of emotion driving it. That emotion is lament, meaning to feel and express sorrow and to mourn for something. And yes, elegies are very often about someone who has died, but it might also be something that has died, say a feeling or a relationship. Or I should say, elegies are an expression or the question of loss generally. They are the expression of the hurt, the wound. They are the howl of grief. They are a study of what is deep for the emotion of lament and what to make of that lament is the subject of the elegy. So here we move towards the examples of elegy. Elegy written in country churchyard, and second is a refusal to mourn. So these are two examples of an elegy. So let's move towards next topic. What is song? What is song? A song is a composition that combines lyrics with music, typically arranged in a melodic and rhythmic structure. They contain often poetic in nature. It serves as a form of artistic expression, conveying emotions, stories, or ideas through its lyrics and musical elements. Third point is songs are often performed vocally accompanied by musical instruments, and they hold cultural significance across various societies, serving as a means of entertainment, communication, and expression of identity and emotions. So here we discuss about examples of the songs that are "When I'm Dead, My Dearest" by Christina Gorgia. Second one is "Go and Catch a Falling Star." These are two examples of song. So here we move to the next topic, that is what is a free verse poem, that we can also say poem and poem, ठीक है। फ्री वर्स पोइम क्या होती है? ऐसी पोइम जिसमें कोई खास स्ट्रक्चर ना हो, कोई रैमिंग स्कीम ना हो, कोई पेंटामीटर ना हो। इसकी डेफिनेशन देखते हैं। फ्री वर्स पोइम इज एनी वर्क ऑफ पोएट्री दैट डजंट हैव अ सेट मीटर और राइम स्कीम. Some free verse poems employ a few rhymes or internal rhymes, but others don't. Free verse definition. A free verse literary definition is any poem that doesn't follow a specific meter or rhyme scheme. This free verse definition should include the caveat that some poems feature occasional rhymes or rhythmic elements but are inconsistent in their application and still qualify as free verse. Free verse poems are also sometimes called non-metrical or non-rhyming poems. Free verse poems often follow a more natural rhythm of speech than metered poems do. While free verse has existed in poetry for a long time, it became much more popular at the start of the 20th century. So here is a question that does T.S. Eliot use free verse? Yes, T.S. Eliot frequently used free verse in his poetry. His most famous poems like the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, The Wasteland and The Hollow Man all features free verse. What is an example of a free verse poem? Example of a free verse poem is In a Station of the Metro by Ezra Pound. This poem is from the Images School of Poetry and it is very short, focusing on sensory experiences and images rather than narrative. What is free verse? Free verse is a poetic technique in which a poem doesn't follow a specific rhyme or meter. The term comes from the French verse libre, directly translated into English. Free verse poems are distinct from regular prose writing because they use figurative language and intentional line breaks to create a specific poetic effect. What are the features of free verse? Free verse is sometimes called free form poetry while a lack of rules characterizes it. It does have some formal features commonly found in free verse poetry. Here are some examples of free verse poem. T.S. Eliot, The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, Walt Whitman, The When Lilacs Last in Dooryard Blonde, E. Cummings, I Carry Your Heart With Me, William Carlos Williams, This Is Just to Say. Here we move to the next topic, that what is ballad? A ballad is a type of poem that tells a story and was traditionally set to music. English language ballads are typically composed of four-line stanzas that follow an ABCB rhyming scheme. The ballad is one of the oldest poetic forms in English. There are so many different types of ballad that giving one strict definition to fit all the variation would be nearly impossible. The simplest way to think of a ballad is a song or a poem that tells a story and has a bouncy rhythm and rhyme scheme. Traditional ballads are written in a meter called common meter, which consists of alternating lines of iambic tetrameter, 8 syllables, with lines of iambic trimeter, 6 syllables. Many ballads have a refrain. It means to say a line or stanza that repeats throughout the poem, much like the chorus of modern day songs. Okay, how can pronounce ballads? Here's to pronounce how to pronounce ballad. Ballad. Okay. How many types of ballads are there? First one is folk ballads. The other one is lyrical ballads, and last one is modern ballads. Here are some examples of ballads. The first one is Ballad Am Sans Mercy by John Keats, and the other one is Oh What Is That Sound. So these are two examples of ballads. So move to the next topic, that is epic. What is an epic? Definition and details we are gonna discussing. The word epic has been derived from the Greek word epikos, which means a word, song, or speech. An epic is well defined as a long story in verse dwelling upon an important theme in a most elegant style and language. A long narrative poem that tells the adventures of heroes who embody the values of their civilization. This is the real definition of epic. I repeat it again. A long narrative poem that tells the adventures of heroes who embody the values of their civilization. The Iliad is the epic of war, the Odyssey is the epic of long journey. Here are two examples of epic poem. How epics were told? They were originally told aloud by people who could not read or write. They were composed according to a basic story line. They were made up on the spot. What are the characteristics of an epic? A physically impressive hero of national importance, vast setting involving much of the known world as well as lands of the dead. A journey is taken in search of something, evidence of supernatural forces at work. Glorification of the hero at the end contains more than 1,000 lines. Involves a hero and a villain. Starts in the middle. Involves the gods. Athena, goddess of wisdom. Poseidon, god of sea. Odysseus, enemy. Here are some other points are there. Epic hero characteristics: possess admirable qualities, trust, respect, skillful warrior who poses a special weapon, capable of fear, have allies and followers, takes a journey to battle level. Or the background of here we're discussing two epic poems. First one is the Odyssey. Here is we're gonna discussing background of the Odyssey. Set in the 10th and final year of the Trojan War, the Greeks attacked Troy to avenge an insult suffered by Menelaus, king of Sparta. Helen, his wife, ran off with Paris, the young prince of Troy. The other one is the wooden horse trick. Odysseus thought of the trick which led to the downfall of Troy. They fought 10 years outside the walls of Troy, built an enormous wooden horse and hide Greeks in the valley, push through the walls of Troy and attack. Odysseus is a hero in trouble. A hero of war has difficulty finding his way back to Ithaca. Married Penelope before leaving for war, had one son Telemachus who was 3 when Odysseus went to war. Here are some characteristics of epic. There are several characteristics of an epic that distinguish it from other forms of poetry. They are discussed here below. The first and foremost characteristic of an epic is its bulky size. An epic is an extensive and prolonged narrative in verse. Usually, every single epic has been broken down into multiple books. For example, Homer's epics are divided into 24 books. Similarly, John Milton's Paradise Lost has been divided into 12 books. Another essential feature of an epic is the fact that it dwells upon the achievements of a historical or traditional hero or a person of national or international significance. Every epic extols the valor, deeds, bravery, character, and personality of a person who has incredible physical and mental traits. Exaggeration is also an important part of an epic. The poet uses hyperbole to reveal the powers of a hero. He doesn't think twice about using exaggeration to make an impression on the audience. Other point is supernaturalism is a must-have feature of every epic. Without having to use supernatural elements, no epic would certainly produce awe and wonder. There are certainly gods, demons, angels, fairies, and use of supernatural forces like natural catastrophes in every epic. Milton, Paradise Lost, Homer's Iliad, Beowulf, and Spenser's Fairy Queen are replete with supernatural elements. Last other one point is morality. Morality is a characteristic of an epic. The poet's foremost purpose in writing an epic is to give a moral lesson to his readers. For instance, John Milton's Paradise Lost is a perfect example in this regard. The poet wants to justify God's ways to man through Adam's story. This is the most didactic theme of the epic. The theme of each epic is sublime, elegant, and has universal significance. It may not be a significant theme that is only limited to the personality or the locality of the poet. It is with the entire humanity. Thus, John Milton's Paradise Lost is a great example in this regard. The theme of this epic is certainly of great importance and deals with humanity as a whole. Its theme is to justify the ways of God to man. Invocation to the muse is another important quality of an epic. The poet at the very beginning of the epic seeks the help of the muse. While writing his epic, look at the beginning lines of the Iliad, Odyssey, and Paradise Lost. So this is all about epic. So here we are gonna discussing the last topic, that is dramatic monologue. What is dramatic monologue? Dramatic monologue refers to a type of poetry. These poems and are dramatic in the sense that they have a theatrical quality. That is, the poem is meant to be read to an audience. To say that the poem is a monologue means that these are the words of one solitary speaker with no dialogue coming from any other characters. Think of one person standing alone on a stage speaking to an audience. Certainly, you are a part of that audience, but the poem usually implies that the speaker is mainly talking to a specific person. The reason poets choose to write poems like this is to express a point of view through the words of a character. However, the tricky part is that often the opinions stated by that character are not the same as the views of the poet. Most of the time, the speaker is trying to convince someone of something and may or may not be telling the whole truth. Sometimes, what the speaker doesn't say is just as revealing and interesting as what he or she does say in the poem. Here are some examples of a dramatic monologue: My Last Duchess and Ulysses. So, this is all about today's lecture. Uh, I, today we discussed some definitions of literary terms. तो आई होप कि आपको इसकी समझ आई होगी। अगर आप लोगों ने मज़ीद वीडियो देखनी तो हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना है और हर आने वाली वीडियो को मुकम्मल देखना है। इंशाल्लाह आपके तमाम जो हैं लिटरेरी जो क्वेश्चन हैं वो क्लियर हो जाएंगे। आज के लिए इतना ही। इंशाल्लाह अगली वीडियो में मिलेंगे। अल्लाह हाफिज़। थैंक यू।